In your car, listen to Newswatch 16 on WKRZ AM 1340.
Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Hart, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. Karen Hart is on assignment tonight. I'm Nolan Johannes. It was D-Day today for PG&W, the day the water utility had to tell the State D.E.R. what they decided about an order to filter 2 contaminated water reservoirs. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis was there when PG&W announced their decision. He tells us now how much it's going to cost water customers. Mark?
The company will go along with the D.E.R. order in principle, but it does disagree slightly. The Springbrook and Elmhurst reservoirs will be filtered, but it's going to take about 4 years, and it's going to cost about $39 million. Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company President J. Glenn Gooch made the surprise announcement at a late afternoon news conference. Gooch telling reporters the decision was reached after carefully weighing the situation.
There is a legal question as to whether DER has the authority to order filtration plants, and we could have appealed the orders on that basis, but we're not doing so.
DER ordered the filtration of the Springbrook Reservoir in February, after it was found to be contaminated with GRD assists. A similar order followed for Elmhurst earlier this month. The cost for the 2 filtration plants is estimated at $39 million. It's a cost to be paid by customers. For people in the Springbrook rate area, that's most of Luzerne County, rates will go up about 30%. For the Elmhurst rate area, bills will probably increase about 60%, all beginning probably sometime in 1988. Now, any rate increase for PG&W would have to be approved first by the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, but the Commission is not yet commenting on this PG&W decision because it says of pending litigation. In the meantime, between now and 1988, the GRD testing will continue by PG&W, and the company says it will review all of its watershed lands. Now, the company is also requesting that DER lift the boil water advisory now in effect in Luzerne and Lackawanna counties. But that is a request that DER is not honoring tonight. So if you're in the geodiasis-affected areas, you're still advised to boil your water. I'm Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, reporting live from the Wilkes-Barre newsroom. Nolan?
Thank you, Mark. While officials are working on solving the giardiasis problem, 2 more cases have been reported over the weekend. This makes a total of 397 confirmed cases of the severe intestinal flu-like disease. Action 16 is next with some tips for finding that summer job. Plus, later on, we'll take the Pennsylvania Road to see a contest that pits a person's machinery skill against a frail little egg. Mike Stevens will crack you up with that story as Newswatch 16 continues.
A local Olympic hopeful.
Tonight at 7.
It's been a year and a half since the auto inspection law went from a checkup every 6 months to a checkup every year. The law was changed due to public pressure, and Newswatch 16's Craig Stevens found out we may have gotten a lot less than we bargained for.
I think the once-a-year inspection is a good idea. It gives a person more time if anything's wrong with their car to go ahead and get it fixed up within that year, within that time, that time period.
You think the cars are still safe?
Yes, I do.
A lot of motorists agree. Inspecting a car only once a year instead of twice is more convenient, cheaper, and just as safe. But a growing number of auto mechanics like Randy Sloniker disagree. He says there are now more unsafe cars on the road, and twice as many as before don't pass inspection.
I would have to say 50% of the cars that come in our shop now don't pass inspection compared to the way it was because of the time involved, and you're finding a lot more problems now than you would in a 6 months inspection period.
Eased inspection requirements also allow mechanics to pass cars that have balding tires, wearing brakes, or even holes in the side of a car. All problems that could deteriorate and make a car unsafe long before its next inspection is due.
Safe, not as safe as they used to be, no, because of neglect and not paying attention to what should be paid attention to.
So just how many unsafe cars and trucks are there on Pennsylvania highways? Well, your guess is as good as mine. But one thing is for sure, according to mechanics, there are more unsafe cars simply because they're only being inspected once a year. It must be the price we have to pay for convenience, because it's doubtful that the once-a-year auto inspection law will change since it's so popular among motorists. Craig Stevens, Newswatch 16, Williamsport.
Well, with beautiful weather such as we've had today, could the warm days of summer be far behind? Well, it may be too early to break out the swimsuit, but it's not too early to start hunting for a summer job. Action 16 and Gerry Gartenburg say that it's time to look if you're a high school senior or a college student especially.
Each year, the federal government hires thousands of summer workers in offices around the country, including here at the Tobyhanna Army Depot in northeastern Pennsylvania. Tobyhanna is the largest employer of summer help in our area. This summer, Tobyhanna has openings for clerks, typists, and engineering assistants. The jobs are geared for high school seniors and college students. The work isn't glamorous, but it's a chance to make some money, and there are other payoffs. Just ask Sharon Arve. She works full-time at Tobyhanna now. Back in 1981, she landed a job here as a summer clerk.
Just because you're getting a clerk job doesn't mean you're going to sit at a typewriter all day long or you're going to file all day long. To get to work with people that have different professions, and you will help them out, and you get a little bit knowledge of everything that goes on.
Now, if you don't want an office job this summer, how about working in a state park? There are more than 400 jobs available in state parks across Pennsylvania. At parks such as Hickory Run here in Whitehaven, the jobs usually run from mid-May to the end of August. Ideal if you're a college student. All pay minimum wage or higher. If you're interested in a summer job with the state or federal government, your first step is to get hold of the job listings and applications. You can get federal job listings and applications by writing to Federal Job Employment Service, 600 Arch Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19106. And the place to write for state job listings and applications is Department of Environmental Resources, Bureau of Personnel, P.O. Box 2356, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17120. The time to apply is now. The application deadline for many of these summer jobs runs out in April. Gerry Gartenburg, Action 16.
If you live in Lycoming County and your home was damaged by the February floods, don't expect any help from the state to fix your property. Damage from the flood in Lycoming County was estimated at over $5 million, but today the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency refused to grant disaster status in the county. If Lycoming County were given that status, property owners who suffered flood damage would have been eligible for low-interest state loans. Lycoming County officials now plan to ask our lawmakers in Harrisburg for help. Our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark, is next with a little help in some spring weather, I hope. How about that, Tom?
Nolan, we are going to be able to squeeze out one more nice day this week because the weather news tonight is not all good. I'll explain when we come back.
Our third couple is representing the cities of Wilkes-Barre and Scranton, Pennsylvania.
America's hottest dance show is back in northeastern Pennsylvania. Dance Fever auditions are underway, and this could be your chance to dance your way to Hollywood and appear on national television. Whatever your dance style is, come down and audition. Call KRZ-FM or WNEP and reserve your audition time now. Everyone's invited to join us each audition night as we dance the night away at the Lackawanna Hilton in Scranton.
Well, Karen picked a great day to go out on an assignment. You'll learn later this week what she's working on, but let's go out to the backyard. This guy works out there all the time.
Man,
how's it going?
I loved it out there today, Nolan.
Yeah.
Not a cloud in the sky, but over the past few days we've had no rain and plenty of strong March sunshine and gusty winds, and as a result the ground has become very dry in many places, and that has increased the likelihood of brush fires like this one here that was burning this afternoon in Hanover Township. That scene shot there from Skycam 16. Doesn't look too bad, but it was smoldering away nonetheless as the ground is drying out quite a bit. Okay, the temperature under a blue sky in the backyard, still plenty of daylight left over. The reading is 42. The humidity 34%, a very low water vapor content in the air tonight. The wind north at 10, the barometer is rising. The range in temperature 46 this afternoon, not too far from normal. The low this morning 27, the record low set back in 1960. That is plenty cold. A shot there from the west side of Scranton, looking out towards the Mulberry Street Bridge in the center of Scranton. this afternoon. Now, the East Coast satellite view, there's Pennsylvania. There's the storm that spread rain across southern Pennsylvania yesterday and some heavy downpours across the Virginias late yesterday and last night. Some very heavy thunderstorms down that way. That storm missed us, and look what came in behind it, very cold, cool, dry air out of Canada, and that will hold its ground over our region tomorrow. And now, the hottest place in the entire U.S. this afternoon was way down there in McAllen, Texas. 95 degrees. But the heat wasn't the problem out in the far west, out in Southern California. They had so much blowing dust and sand in the air that you couldn't see any more than about a half mile. So some problems down that way. Storm system tonight developing over Kansas, another one out over New Mexico. These two storms will combine to form one major storm over the southern Mississippi Valley, and then from there it will grind its way very slowly up towards the Great Lakes and deteriorate our weather here the latter half of this week. Now here's the forecast for tonight. A starry sky and plenty cold by morning. Readings in the middle 20s in New Milford, Old Boston. Hello out there, a section of Jenkins Township. 26 in Stonington, that's in Northumberland County, and the middle 20s out in Williamsport tonight. A dry start in the morning, plenty of sunshine, but good bit of cirrus clouds overhead, which may dim the sun in the afternoon, but a nice day nonetheless. Readings getting up into the middle 40s, about 47 in Pittston, 48 in Lewisburg, in Fogelsville, down there in Lehigh County, west of Allentown, near 50 tomorrow. An easterly wind late in the day tomorrow, but again, the day will be quite nice. The Health Watch reflecting that resistance to aches and pains average. Sunrise and sunset, here it is for tomorrow, 5:56 and 6:23. Clear tonight, fair tomorrow, 47. The rain coming in on Wednesday, could be some wet snow and some sleet mixed in on Wednesday, and then a heavier rainfall I see coming on Thursday, a cold day on Friday, below normal temperature-wise the rest of this week. But one more nice day tomorrow, Nolan. Be sure that you enjoy it.
Yeah, okay. Joe Zone was going to play golf every day this week. Now he's moaning a little bit.
Tomorrow will be okay, though.
Okay, tomorrow's okay. Thanks, Tom. Joe Zone's coming up next with sports. He'll have the state high school semifinals and how the Game Commission is making better use of our natural wilderness.
Skycam 16 is everywhere.
Well, how many are left? Joe knows. How about it, Joe?
We are still loaded. You know that Williamsport game was supposed to be played Wednesday night, but there are so many Williamsport fans involved that the PIAA tried to move the game up tomorrow night to get them into a bigger place. They got 5,000. They probably figure they can sell another 5,000 more. So that's why the Williamsport game is being played tomorrow night instead of Wednesday night. We've still got 6 teams in the state title hunt. Williamsport, Northwest Area, Bishop Hoban, Allentown Central Catholic for the boys, Marion Catholic, and Shenandoah Valley for the girls. The Northwest Area Rangers looking for their second straight Class A title today. Coach Eddie Gayeski had them at King's College on the synthetic floor. They'll be on the synthetic for the first time tomorrow night against Morrisville. They're the champs from District 1, a team Gayeski's impressed with.
They are a solid ball club. They're capable of running. They're capable of playing a controlled game. They have good size. They have 3 boys that have scored over 1,000 points.
The Rangers are going to have to put it all together to win this one. That means what Gayeski calls a full 4-quarter effort.
I like to feel that we can play patiently also, but we're going to have to put that act together a little bit better than we did in the last game.
The Rangers 2 wins away from a second straight state title. Well, a couple of weeks ago, the Pennsylvania Game Commission got together with the Bureau of Forestry. They're working on a project to improve the waterfowl habitat in selected areas throughout the state. This is a marsh in the Wyoming State Forest, Sullivan County, relatively small, about 40,000 acres. The plan here is to open up the marsh with selected dynamiting, making a combination of potholes and channels, and that provides for an ideal environment for waterfowl.
With just potholes back there, the birds probably don't use them as much as when you can run channels from the water so that the birds can, just by swimming, you know, get all through the marsh. What we're doing is making a better interspersion of marsh habitat and open water. Because if this was just solid marsh, you'd have very little duck usage. And what you need is an interspersion ratio of about 50-50 of marsh and open water. Makes it ideal for the ducks.
Game Commission will visit that marsh next spring. Then they'll see whether the blasting has done the job or if, in fact, more is needed. Well, it'll be Larry Holmes and Jerry Coetzee from Las Vegas on June 8th. The fight will be held in a temporary outdoor arena. College baseball today, Wilkes 10, Bloomsburg 8. They're going to get it in before the snow comes later this week. And the Insta Buckets tonight are playing up in Weatherly as we wrap up our season. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. See you at 11 o'clock. We're going to look at that Allentown Central Catholic team playing Bishop Hoban. That's tonight at 11.
Right. The Williamsport girls didn't make it over the weekend.
No, they
right?
got almost all the way, but they got knocked off over the weekend.
Yeah, that would have been a classic story. Both of them right down to the wire. Okay, Joe, we'll see you at 11. Okay. Thank you, sir. Our man on the Pennsylvania Road is Mike Stevens, and did you ever try greasing a skid with a forklift? Well, stick around. Mike Stevens has that slippery story from the Pennsylvania Road in just a moment.
Everything from whitewater to black powder to beavers, biking, and bows, from copperheads to whitetails to casting, calling, and crows. You'll see stalking fish, fixing poles, rainbow trout, and snowy owls, setting traps, drilling holes, earthworms, and waterfowls. Whether you're a fan of the eagles, browns, bears, or giants, or of Joe and Stan and the Mountain Man, or some Tom Duck, or Harry, watch hiking, frying, riding, tying, skiing, and flying on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, Saturday at 7.
And now, our man on the Pennsylvania Road, Mike Stevens, takes us to Union County tonight. It's the story of human competition that pits man against egg.
A piece of heavy equipment is a scary machine. Why, with just one sweep of its bucket, the thing can knock over a wall. At Williamsport Area Community College over the weekend, they were doing things with heavy equipment that you couldn't imagine. Why, they'd let students in a timed event try to knock a racquetball off a cone. It's kind of like doing watch repair with an 8-pound sledge. Some students tried their luck at a run through an obstacle course driving a forklift. Boy, talk about a tough road to hoe. If you really want to see what you can do with heavy equipment, just watch this egg.
Really, you just try picking up the eggs, all you try doing. There's not really anything to try figuring out.
See? Simple. Just pick the egg up in a spoon attached to your shovel, swing it on over to a 4-inch piece of pipe, and drop it in. Now what, I ask you, could be simpler?
First of all, you have to understand the controls of the machine, and the next thing is to try to slide under that egg. If you try to come from behind, there's a chance you'll crack it. The next thing is to have real good nerves, I guess you would say. So when you swing that over, that you don't overcompensate, either hit the piece of pipe or else jiggle the egg off.
One guy took 54 seconds to do all that and to win. Some guys, well, they never got there. You just got to be careful how you jiggle that bucket, I guess. I'm Mike Stevens, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road in Allenwood.
Okay, why don't you try it, they say, right? And that's Newswatch 16 for this Monday. Karen, of course, will be back at 11 with us tonight. Be sure to join us tonight in the update when we'll find out what part and page, that is PG&W customers will have to say and do about plans to raise their water bills to pay for those filters just announced today. World News Tonight is next. We'll see you at 11. Enjoy your evening.